That was more effective than I was expecting it to be. Well, since we're all quiet, folks are welcome to stand. If you want to sit, I'm going to give a little bit of an introduction and an overview. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. And you can sit anywhere because I'll explain what we're going to do shortly, and it'll involve getting up and moving to other seats. So feel free to stand, sit, grab food, whatever works. And welcome. So I'm Megan Roy. I'm the superintendent of Washington Central. I've met many of you, but not all of you. Really excited to have you all here and appreciate you coming out to what we hope is the first of several different kinds of conversations with our community. A couple of logistics. Like I said, I think I'm not supposed to stand under there so I don't squeak. I am going to overview what we're going to do, give you a little background information right now. There are people, and it sounds like we may be running out of name tags, but folks have name tags, and if you see red dots on name tags, those are the members of our Strategic Planning Steering Committee, and we'll introduce them or have them raise their hands in a second. But they can help during the process. As we're having our conversation, if you have questions or you're not sure where we are or what the direction is, look to them and they can help you. And we've got some childcare happening down the hall, which you probably know, because other than very tiny, I don't see any kids, so we should be good. And get food. This is very informal. It's meant to be a conversation, so feel free to get up and move around. All right, so a couple things to kind of ground the conversation today. The first piece is our mission, and I think people know what this is, but sometimes it's helpful to remember where we are now, even as we're gathering information about where we might want to be. So Washington Central exists to nurture and inspire in all students the passion, creativity, and power to contribute to their local and global communities. Some more grounding work that we would like to have everyone have in their minds as they talk is these are 3 pillars that kind of inform everything we do at Washington Central. Those of you that are educators and staff in our system, you see this, whenever we gather together, you see a lot of your PD tied to these things. But all of our work falls under one of these 3 things, and that's academic achievement, safe and healthy schools, and humanity and justice. So we want those things in mind as we do our work. And why are we here tonight? So tonight's conversation is part of our strategic planning process. These are some words, you don't have to read it, but the purpose of this has lots of phases, but the entire thing is a multi-year process. But we are looking to have a visioning and strategic planning process that really emphasizes engagement and equity and lifting as many voices as we can, which is why you'll hear me say lots that this is not the only event and it's not the only type of event, because this is wonderful and it's not the only way that we can get voices from our communities. And so we'll talk about that a little bit. But the goal is to create unity within our system and really have a common understanding of what you all think our students should have as part of our educational system. Here are our steering committee members. Do you want to raise your hands, those of you that are here? Thank you. This is a great group. We've had some really great conversations, and we will continue to have great conversations, and we learn from each one of them, and we'll learn from this event too. So really appreciative of those who are giving up time to do this. And this is just a little bit to ground you. This is our timeline and process. Right, well, we're here, but I'll go back. This first phase is really about big funnel community engagement, kind of hearing from folks about really high level core values. What do we want for our students? This will move into a really iterative process of processing that, drilling it down, sending it back out for feedback, engaging with the community, getting to some strategic goals. So this is kind of the long-term process. This is where we are now. And just as a teaser, and we are still working on making sure we communicate this out really well. We'll get better at that as we go. We know that not everyone can come to an event, so we will have different versions of this. We will also, every question that you're about to react to is also going to exist in a survey form that we will bring to our communities. These are some school-based events between now and the end of the year that we will bring it to. And there will be community-based events that are community events that we'll drop into. We'll also have conversations about, do we replicate this in a virtual format? Do we have another event like this? So our steering committee will be debriefing after tonight. But this is some information. So, as you were walking in, and there's lots written on things, which is great, you were kind of reflecting on your core beliefs. So what are core beliefs? What's a vision? I mean, people know what those words mean, but this is really about something that will give us a compass or a North Star to help guide our decisions, guide our budget decisions, guide the work of what we're doing as we move forward. And it's really important to be able to ground everything we do in what our community believes we should be doing. So part of our process is then turning that vision into action. So we'll be synthesizing words into a vision and core beliefs. We will send those back out to the community in multiple formats, and then we will continue to iterate. We know that we have opportunities and we have challenges ahead. These, if for many of you, knowing these are why you're here. Others are new to the process and you're here to engage in it. But our challenge moving forward is figure out how do we stay true to our core values and vision, build on what's already happening in our schools that's going really well, build on what we're already doing, but also respond to changing conditions. We don't have a choice about our changing conditions. We know we have enrollment declining. We know that our communities are facing the same economic realities that everyone else in the state is. And there are some things that have nothing to do with us about how education is funding that we've had and we won't have anymore. Those are things that we're going to have to figure out how to react to. So when we respond to those conditions, we want to be able to do that, keeping our visions and values in mind. And it's important to know that we're starting this way because we don't have preconceived notions about where we'll end up. We know we've got some things we have to respond to, but we want to know what the community wants for our schools. So today, we want your ideas. Okay. I'm going to pause briefly. Are there any burning questions that someone needs to ask because they don't understand and they won't be able to move forward? Yes?
Are there positive things that we don't have no control over that might change? If you go back a slide, you have 2 slides. You have declining enrollment, economic realities, and funding changes. Are there positive things that could go in that bottom bucket that we need to respond to?
Probably. Do you have an example in your head? That's a genuine question.
It's a genuine question.
Yeah, of course. These are the conditions that we've been talking a lot about recently because they impact us and they impact us soon. But absolutely, the educational landscape in Vermont, I would call a positive condition. I would love this. That's a great question also to weave into the conversation we're about to have. Okay, here's what we're going to do. At some point tonight, you will go to 4 different tables. Every table has the same set of questions, and you'll do the same thing, which means it doesn't matter where you start. And the tables that look less cluttered, so not this one and not this one, are the ones that have the set of questions on them. The questions will also be up here, and people with red dots will walk around to make sure you know what we're doing. And although I think we fit nicely, we can bring down another table if it feels too crowded. I think that we're okay right now. But you're going to go to 4 different tables. You're going to get to have a conversation about a specific question and take notes on that conversation. You'll have about 7 minutes at each station. I will time us, and I'll give you a 1-minute warning. Take notes that capture the themes and highlights of your conversation. If you happen to be at a table and nobody likes to take notes, someone with a red dot will take notes. Let's see. Couple things as we have these conversations. We call them working agreements most of the time. When you sit at a meeting, we have a set of norms. We've tried to kind of modify this for this kind of event. To the extent that you can, small tables hopefully makes for a manageable, comfortable conversation, but try to make space for all voices. Not everyone loves talking in this kind of setting. Try to stay focused on the question. There is a reason why these questions are the ones. It doesn't mean that you can't jot down other things that you want us to know. And actually, I can put up a parking lot chart paper, so if you really want to make sure that we get to something later, we'll make that happen. But try to stay focused on the question during the time that you're at the table. Be present to the extent that you can. And then just remember that this is a big setting. We're being recorded so people can hear a portion of our conversations later. So just know that as you have conversations. You might have stories you want to share. Just be aware. We can't. This is not necessarily a confidential space. So. Okay. So the first round says stay where you are unless you feel like your table is very full and you need to move. But the first round is the first questions. It should be the top of your kind of extra big size paper. Yep, it says hopes and dreams. What are the hopes and dreams that our community has for our young people? And I'm going to set a timer, and you can start your conversation.
Yeah, I was about to say, make it through alive. Not even mine. That's actually yeah. They'll learn from great teachers. I think make formative connections with educators. You know.
A long time ago.
I'll take it when you're tired. Okay, you let me know.
I would absolutely not.
Handwriting. It's good we elected you. Feel proud.
Prepared for the next steps.
I'm Director of Technology with Washington.
I think with that, can I add on to that? Like, to be ready for the next steps in life. Not just like next, and this maybe like personal, not just, know your options as a next step. And be a valuable part of the community.
And some of that might be to sort of have the opportunity for individual exploration.
I'm adding fulfilling next steps to this.
Figure out what
Opportunities for exploration.
Individual exploration. To figure out what that next step is, your own strategy.
I want them to be valued for who they are.
It's got some great names. I know. I love seeing how other people, it's like what their moves are with their babies, I'd like some working positive models for conflict resolution and management.
ones. Like you had something you wanted to share.
Respectful of one another, especially its differences. I think that's similar to what I was going to say. Especially, it's easy to be respectful of people you like, but what about coming out and caring a human?
I think for me it's like a safe and inclusive and supportive environment for my kids to grow up. Figure out who they are.
Ones are so different.
Yeah, see it.
Don't agree. I'm writing. I'm sort of elaborating. Yeah. Okay. So you said a safe, supportive environment.
Safe, inclusive, supportive for kids to grow. Thank you.
Oh wow. Recognize their own strengths, talents. That's a good one.
He's working remote, making a ton of money, but they cut back. There's nothing in Vermont that's going to.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. He works for Microsoft. So I wonder about
Sustainability.
No. But the reason he's a computer programmer was he was supported here when he went rogue with his love through community connections, through
He might, if I'm out of this,
reaching out.
he's going to do better if I get to the point where
You did. Got out there to see how
knowledge or skills to do with things.
My kids don't go to school here, but I know that if they did, the hopes and dreams I have for them are they leave school strong and confident. Our schools help them get that. It's not necessarily that they have to be straight A kids or the best in the class. I just want them to feel like they can go out in the world and be confident in what they can do.
Confident and comfortable in who they are.
Comfortable in their skin. I think that's a
There's a piece of me that's comfortable in their skin so that they're willing to take reasonable risks rather than be stuck. And I'm not sure how to phrase that.
I think
willing to take risks in life.
I think that's great.
Yeah. Whatever they might be.
Right. Economic, social.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be teaching them to get through conflict or
2-minute warning for this part of the
resilience,
conversation.
the kind of bouncing back. That's a great word.
Resilience. ENC.
I think nobody knows how to really spell it, so just act
Well, it looks like
confident.
re-silence. Resilience. That looks right.
Yeah, there's also a piece of accountability. Yeah. I have to take ownership of my for myself and don't expect others to pick up my
Get an opportunity to learn skills that you need to with others.
Okay. Bring us back. Thank you, Becca, for bringing us back.
State this often enough. There should also be some joy within our doors. So finding some joy. Thank you.
Would you like me to write for a bit so you get a chance to talk?
Can you add, well, no, just add next to the joy, the like fun.
Yeah.
I know you said community, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can read this back if you want me to. Helping our kids wade through misinformation, become informed citizens and voters, become smart digital citizens and consumers. Also helping kids have a foundation in history, helping kids to feel a sense of belonging and connection, that all passions, expressions, and pursuits are valued equally. Helping kids come to school open-minded, excited to learn and realize that they are part of a larger community, so they become like learners and learn to take risks. Perhaps they could have more opportunity to engage in real-world
Okay, we are about to move.
in order to learn more human skills and identify what those skills are.
So you're going to move to a new table.
Thank you for that. That's great.
This is always hard because nobody wants to stop the conversation. Remember, when you move to a new table, the goal is to sit with a different group of people. So try not to move as a group. Try to filter yourselves around. I'll give you a minute to get settled, and then I'll read the question. Yes. No, sorry. It's everybody is going to the same second question. You totally could. Okay, so the next question, and you've already done a little bit of this with the exercises you came in, but what are the core values that should guide Washington Central as we make important decisions?
Core values that should guide. It is a mouthful. As we make decisions. Core values. Shout it. No inclusivity. Okay.
I'd like to start with kindness always.
Kindness. Yay.
The whole child and the whole community.
Whole child, whole community. Read that.
Oh, we can do multiple choice?
Well,
I'm thinking of something in terms of like student-centeredness.
Okay, I'll just write that down. What about you? You don't want to leave your voice out either?
I think integrity is important right now in the world.
What was my other word?
Integrity? Dude, knucklefuck. That's a good one. Empathy. Which one? Empathy. Empathy. It's not on the list, I don't think, but it's the one on mine. Oh yeah, that's huge.
Renee Brown doesn't. She must. She's the queen.
One side is Elena Aguilar and one is Renee, so I don't know.
She does not have it. I was looking and I was like, is it not a value? Is it considered a quality? We've got inclusivity, kindness, the whole child, the whole community, student-centeredness, integrity, empathy, core values.
There's something about being able to freedom dream the future. So
Freedom to dream.
Well, to dream into the future.
Freedom to dream into the future.
I think that's what I want to say. Because we have to start
Say
thinking
more.
about.
Help us understand what that means.
Well, we can't be stuck in the standards that are now. they're kind of irrelevant for most of our kids. So what's next?
Willingness to change, is that related? Growth mindset right there.
There you go.
Growth mindset.
Go, Ursula.
My big number word. Cool.
I think, along with my freedom dreaming and being really creative, is thinking beyond all the boxes so that our families and friends are included in the education.
Oh yeah, there's good.
Better late than never, right?
Jody's
So the interconnectivity, is that
You like that?
a good word?
You can make up whatever you want about what I said.
No, I'm not replacing what you said. I was clarifying.
Yes, you're right. I got distracted. I haven't seen Jody for a while.
I think we may have run out. Okay, good. But that's what Megan was saying at one point. Connection to the larger community outside of schools. What about you for me and that behind his family? What's the value of there were things we could
Want to say more about that sense of connection, relationships, belonging? How may we elaborate on this?
I think I would suggest along that kind of creative thinking is just embedding in that what stages of development. So as we think about potentially shifting, or if that's on the table, where are these students at in their development? What relationships have they formed? Are they particularly volatile in that particular time? And again, ask ourselves the question, why do we keep this group together? How does this make sense? Are we doing all of this for budgetary reasons? Really just...
This is your 2-minute warning. Again, 2 minutes, and then we'll switch.
Are you saying that, are you saying is the root of this financial?
Right, yeah, and I think we need to interrogate that.
Yeah, okay.
What else?
I'd like to add sustainability. I'm thinking not just of environmental, but in like all aspects. The idea that we're going to be doing this in perpetuity. We need to set it up in a way that works for everybody from the students to the taxpayers, in all different ways.
That's one of the, I think, positives. Like when somebody asked earlier, is there something positive that's on this list? We have an opportunity here to create something like this.
And I think a question that we should always come back to is how does this decision impact our students?
Yep. Yeah, that, I mean, when you're talking about sustainability, and even if you look at it from an investment.
Remaining student-centered.
What else? In terms of decision-making clarity, transparency. It's really important. You're tired.
Especially decision-making.
Especially decision-making process. Yeah.
Stakeholders are involved.
And to get a little bit nitty-gritty, making sure that it's in laypersons. Everything is in layperson's terms. So when you're thinking about every member of a community being truly able to understand, not, I mean, I think educators can understandably use it. master's
Jargon.
in education language.
Jargon, lingo.
The
Acronyms be
acronyms.
difficult to understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've had lots of conversations about that as a steering committee
Yeah.
already. And actually, what the way these questions
Okay,
came out,
yeah.
actually,
Right.
we're trying really hard to break them
I
down.
have a notebook of jargon. I can
You can chuck that.
So we're going to move to a new table. Again, mix your group up.
All right, thank
There is a little prompt that says try to go 2 tables away from where you are now, but nobody's going to monitor that.
It's actually very good for mixing for somebody to not move.
And a former teacher of London.
Okay, the question for this round, and there's a lot of overlap. A lot of the answers to some of the other ones probably can be answered. This one is what skills or qualities are most important for our students? Skills and qualities.
You're gonna have another line. That says critical, right? Because I think first we gotta start. There you go.
Discernment. Curiosity. Passion.
Say passion or compassion?
Passion.
Okay.
But I like compassion too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why. I thought I write passion, but I heard.
Yeah.
Jody, I used to work here. I'm now the Central Vermont Career Center, so I still get to work here.
And I know we have to just say I'm a senior in division and I can
I'd say the ability to work hard, the ability to actually put in the work. I don't know how you
Persevere.
persevere.
Perseverance, persistence, industriousness.
Self-care is
Just good old-fashioned literacy.
Literacy.
You know, and they're
I mean, right, how nitty gritty do we want to, how specific?
There's any rule.
skills and qualities.
Right, skills and qualities.
Civic engagement.
Civic engagement.
And locus of control, like knowing they can make a difference.
Like that.
Instead of advice, get up there. Stand, talk about
I would say emotional intelligence.
Flexibility.
I was going to say adaptability.
Adaptability.
I'm just gonna write because I did.
Do we have curiosity?
We do have curiosity.
Okay. I would say gracefulness. We're kind of in a moment in history where we need to teach kids or reteach them the concept of how to have grace in your life. Give someone the benefit of the doubt.
That's a great idea. I like that.
I'd say self-awareness.
Oh, you've met middle school.
What's that?
You've met every middle schooler we have.
Is anyone here like on the board or anyone at the table?
I'm not on the board.
No? Okay.
Steering committee of this process and students too.
There's time, I bet. There's time.
To find joy, like humor learning.
Oh man. Academics, we want to encapsulate that in something as we did for communication or just academic.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. Sort of breaking the fourth wall. But I'm part of the community too, so anyway. But it's like, I would think we want kids to be able to find joy in learning, right? And we really want to be learners and wanting to continue to learn. You know, it's the opposite.
It's curiosity and a love of how do we inspire them.
And that's the what if skill, the what if, which is more of a, it's really different way of saying analytics, but and also to me literature, being able to read and comprehend is crucially important as a skill.
How do we talk about facing the digital realm versus the real realm?
Yeah,
And there's something enormous there that's already here, actually.
2 more minutes with this question. 2 more minutes.
Big intense relationship now.
And how kids are kind of swallowed. They don't hear the birds because they're too busy listening to them. You know, and how do we keep them grounded? And, I mean, we're always going to have the digital stuff, but how do we get the kids to understand they have an earth to walk on? And with
Like a balance or something.
I don't know that we've got the language for how to deal with this yet. I mean, digital literacy, sexual citizenship, there are all these things that we need to bring to our kids.
Given the impact of AI, which will only be increasing.
I'm deleting all those stories.
Well, that doesn't make them go away. But how you encourage kids to not take the easy way of AI. I mean, just because it's you know, it's just, I don't know.
Or teach them how to use it in a responsible way.
Right.
I mean, there are pieces of it as an adult who struggles with spelling that I have fully embraced, that are tools now that I didn't have before. And so how to use those responsibly.
Not talking about spell check.
And ethically. Oh no. But I mean, there's other more AI tools that are helpful for people who have different levels of learning.
And that's true much of technology. I mean, our kids with autism can really fly, right? Whole new spaces for them.
Maintaining space for the human. Maintaining space for the human in our technological.
Here's a degree now.
This actually has us returning to your starting table. So you do actually get to sit with that original group again. Okay, so your last question is how will our young people know that Washington Central cares for and about them? Return, yes, and we can be flexible if people didn't.
They'll be challenged.
Counting the verses.
Yeah, they'll be challenged academically. They will be excited to be at work.
I'm Stephen Bell, I'm the principal here.
All right, so this question is, how will our young people know that we care for and about them? It's part of learning.
Assume that they were at the beginning. They did assume when they left that they were ready, and then they reflect that.
Well,
There are lots of aspects.
They'll have their needs met at school, like
Jonathan said,
whatever you mean, but there's a lot that goes into that, I guess, so.
Advocating for them.
You know, they were respected by their teachers. For them to respect them.
Jane, we advocate.
Give them opportunities.
I was just gonna say challenge.
I'm going to say when they feel welcome, safe, and seen.
I think they're like setting examples for them, like see, when they see Stephen like joyful or like enjoying himself, you know what I mean? Or, I mean, I was using you as an example, but like, oh, he wants to be here, this is like a place of joy or whatever.
I'm going to use when JB, I'm going to say hunt them down. But do you know what I mean? When JB comes around and helps them either get back to class or helps them out of a moment. Right?
When
like
adults
that.
help.
When adults help. Yeah.
We consciously build a positive relationship.
Create that sense of belonging.
Thinking about like academics, there's gotta be something there like they feel like they can actually like achieve academically, they can push themselves academically.
And solve hard problems.
Yeah.
I think that comes back to like when the adults support them and right when those kids see themselves achieve that, it comes a lot with some of the adult support.
Yeah. Which I would say has to be reinforced by acknowledgement, school celebrations or celebrating learning. Like we might think that and believe it, but if it's not shown through a way that reinforces that to the kids.
Even quiet, like those attaboys, right? Like very specific praise. They talk about that when you're raising kids about not just like good job, but like I'm proud of you. You worked really hard on X, Y, and Z. And that comes from the adults in our system.
We provide specific feedback.
Specific feedback, yeah.
I was going to say, we asked them how they're doing. I just as I'm taking Shelley's class, right? We just had that conversation. Someone had asked me how I was doing, right? But nobody ever asked.
maybe by also, I was just going back with a step, celebrating different ways of getting to outcomes, like celebrating different ways of problem solving.
Yeah.
I think also, let me know if I'm going too fast. I think being willing, that the school district is willing to change, willing to be flexible, to meet, changes to bodies, norms, practices.
And maybe following on that, like, for the system to admit that
Okay,
something
2 more
isn't
minutes,
working,
and then we wrap up.
kids are really
2 minutes.
struggling, or really angry, or really want to speak out against something.
Opportunities they want.
Yeah, equitable.
Oh, that's what that is. So I would say, like, despite needs, or with respect. So it's like not just financial, but also neurodiversity and other kinds of access issues. Say, I want to do this activity, it's taken away when how do you say it in a positive way?
Pretty remote, but they just rolled down their window and said, "Arby, get in, I'll take you home." He said they knew where my driveway was and everything. So, but he's the kind of kid that could sit next to you all year and not know your name. It just didn't matter to him. You were fine. He talked to you, but and I didn't. It was never this stranger danger or anything. If they're on our road, they must be safe. That's they made it here. Yeah.
Okay, you're going to wrap up this part of the discussion.
I would just add maybe that they
So
feel
I'm going
seen
to
even
give just a couple of
especially when they're
logistics,
struggling.
and then I'm going to pass it on to Floor for the closing activity. So again, the reason I'm showing this slide again is mostly to emphasize as you go back out in the community and remind people that this is not the only event, that we will have an opportunity to ask people those same questions, and we'll have an opportunity to ask people different questions as the process evolves. So, and for those of you that have kids in schools, these are school-based events that we will have a table at and an opportunity to respond to this same set of questions. And again, we'll sort of have opportunities in the community for that as well. And I'll pass it on to Floor.
Thank you, Megan. So, well, first, thank you, everybody. It's so exciting to see so many people here that showed up and are willing to have this conversation with us. We have 2 questions. We put some Post-its on the table, and we are wondering 2 things. First, in the Post-it, if you would want to write, what did you hear tonight that leaves you encouraged or inspired? And then on your way out, you're going to paste that on that piece of paper there. Or you can also give us some feedback on what can we do better. So either one. And then in the last one, who do you want to bring into this conversation? If you would mind turning the paper in the back of the questions and writing, if you have any suggestions to people that we should make sure to reach out directly to the next one, that would be wonderful. Any questions?
Yeah. It's double-sided. You can write on the back of the number, thank you. And if you run out of Post-its, there are markers, you can write your thoughts or you can consolidate your thoughts onto Post-its. But the goal is just give us some feedback on your way out. And really, we appreciate you being here.
Oh, and there's still a little food, so please, on your way out, get some food.
Well, those, it's a different. Yeah.
Those are important voices. Like what is happening? What's like they're not saying?
Do you, thank you for offering that. Do you think the voices of students that didn't graduate here would be helpful and went on to a different, maybe that's not, I would love to, yeah.
There are a lot of former students working in these communities.
Yeah.
In their 20s.
I'm going to write things
Diane. So do you know some Berlin folks?
Yeah, I was thinking of, but I don't know if you can get them. Is that Matt Levin?
Yeah, Matt Nelson.
Yeah. Yes. And then Erica and Bryn Hare.
What's the last?
Erica and Bryn, B-R-Y-N and Hare, H-A-R-E.
Reaching out to people, letting them know why you think this is important and why you think their input is so important and valuable.
And it does mean if you're if you're trying to have sort of the deeper conversations, you don't have to be 100%. You know, like I ran for state rep last summer, and I would probably in a day I'd probably knock on 20 doors and maybe have 2 to 3 good conversations, but they could be really good conversations. You know, that's you get a decent you don't need to. You may be going after quality, not quantity.
And if you have a quality, then you're likely to get their relatives or their friends and neighbors then based on that one.
I mean, one of the things that I'm concerned about, and I don't know the specifics of who's in the room, because I don't know who's in the room, but the people who show up to these things tend to be disproportionately higher income.
Absolutely. It was good to have the child care option. Maybe, I don't know what the other events, elementary schools. I have questions. I think it's pretty easy to post up things and not have to have a conversation. Just that question and the sticky note next to it.
Yeah, these conversations can be intimidating.
To have to sit and something very like
There's the people who are super busy and engaged. It's just not their priority.
There are probably people that are open to it, but need to be asked maybe twice. Maybe guilted into
What? I'm volunteering you. You're retired.
Persuadable. We're
But how about the people who feel like they've already done this before? Personal invitation.
People who have kids who they're still taxpayers.
Yeah. 85%. So how do we get them?
Thank you. That's why I said it. No.
Yeah. So last steps, when you're done, this and this will go on that table. And your sticky notes on the poster sheet at the table. And grab food on your way out.
So I'm very serious about wanting to know the who's in the house, not just the who's, because I'm the outreach person.
I think what needs to happen is what's have to happen in each
you know, like it's too, I came from Esther, it's a pain in the neck. I'm working on failure. This is the last thing I wanted to do tonight, but I have the minutes here. So, but I think these have to happen every time so that it's a little less challenging to hear. And then you actually hear from that community. I mean, anyone can come, right? And it would be open to anybody, but I think you're going to get, that's how you're going to get somebody from and to honestly to invite individuals
Hi, for the board members, we're going to meet in room 128 at 7:30.
I mean, we can only do so much.
How do you set up like a town meeting?
I think they're doing some, I think that someone's gonna be at the pie breakfast, is what I heard. And Worcester.
But I mean, I can't even go to the pie breakfast. You know?
We talked about the transfer station. We talked about being in the transfer station. Worcester.
Hey, I walked by your building. Oh, you did? I've never seen it before. It's beautiful. No. Oh my God. The union building. How long have you been there?
That would be a place to meet somebody and say we really like
I think they used to do things at the I've never been so heavy.
Oh my God.
Well, having like things to fill out, like having a question, like a board where you can just write on it, or laptops, but a lot of people don't want to just write their laptops, so just like a chalk talk.
It is such a way to come out. No, I know. I totally get it.
I know, my husband was like, you're going back to Montpelier. And I was like, yes, I grabbed it.
I left Worcester and like made my son ramen noodles and like drove over here. Like I was like taking a shower while the water was boiling. Like I was like, and I'll be back later. I'm leaving again. Yeah, I know.
We talked about for the arts nights at the school.
Which one is yours?
They're putting in like a new security system.
I work at Duke. I was PI in the last 2 years, 3 years. Now I'm here for Paris. I'm an EST staff. I work in every classroom because I do support. So I like support with anything.
I'm definitely, I used to work with this.
Yeah. So I see Owen a lot. I do not see Alice because she's so little. Or no, wait. Oh, wait. Yeah. I've never been because it's kind of their separate video. Like unless they're really But yes, I do. I know. I was like, I have seen
Isabel was asking
Is he doing that?